Stir your cauldron well, chant your words and sing your spell.
Hello, broom riders. Long time no see. I am Natalie, and I am the host of the Purple Broom Apothocary Presents. I am coming to you today to just kind of give you guys a little bit of an apology and a thank you for your continued support over my various platforms. You can find me on TikTok, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on my podcast, the Purple Mystic Podcast for the Modern Magical Practitioner. It used to be called the Podcast for the Modern Witch. I've decided to kind of expand that because I realize not everybody wears that label. So anyway, I wanted to come on today because in light of some of my statements, I want to put my money where my mouth is. A recent podcast, I made a statement about a content creator's responsibility to their viewers when there's a long absence. And I realize that I've been away from the camera for nearly 2 years now. And I apologize because I've been trying to record this video for a couple of days now and I've been having trouble with the sound. So I finally think I figured out what the problem was, and hopefully you can hear this. It won't be posted if you can't because I'm going to check first. But for some reason the podcasts were fine, but videos were not coming out with any sound. So anyway, I am going to try to get through this without becoming overly emotional because the last 2 years have been sheer hell. I'm already getting emotional, so I'm sorry. But I do feel that I owe you guys, my viewers, a little bit of an explanation for my long absence from posting. Especially those of you that have continued to come back and look for content and have been listening to the podcasts that I've reposted because I had taken them down and then I'm reposting them. There's a few episodes that are missing, like I did one with S.J. Tucker that I am desperate to find because it was a great interview and I loved talking to her. And, there was some humor there that I don't think I could recreate with her if we tried. So bear with me, folks, but, I've got a new computer. There's been a lot going on. So I'm going to start at the top. March of 2022. We lost my son-in-law in a very tragic way. And the Denton Police Department mishandled the situation, in my opinion, drastically. And it ended up in trauma all around. My daughter particularly, who had a 6-month-old son at the time, he's almost 3 now, obviously, but at the time the baby was only 6 months old, and it was horribly traumatic. I saw him, both of my daughters saw him. They left him in where he was from whatever time in the morning he chose to do this until 1:30 in the afternoon. They didn't put up any kind of a barrier. Horribly traumatic. It was horribly traumatic. And that was kind of the catalyst for a series of really bad things that happened in my family going down until December of 2022. The long and short of it is, because I don't want to get into that, it's very personal and I know you guys probably don't want to hear it, but the long and short of it is I ended up with a brief separation from my husband, which resulted in us completely relocating. And there was some other stuff going on there that I'm definitely not going to get into. My business took a severe hit because I was having to take time from work to help my daughter, who was grieving heavily. And the assistant I had at the time was basically useless as tits on a bull. So I lost a very big contract. Kind of mutually, actually. I was sort of done with the contract because the owners of the company had moved on from the company. One of the owners was experiencing a lot of health issues, and so they'd let their cousin take it over, and things were not the way they had been, but it had been a long-standing contract, and it was my biggest contract. And after that, I just, with all the changes in the healthcare industry and everything going on, I just went and got a job. I'm done. I'm done living in fear of the IRS. I'm done having to deal with schmoozing. I want to be able to go do my job and go home and not have 4 to 6 more hours worth of work when I get home. So that being said, last year was kind of a year of healing for me personally. I was working through my ovate work with the OBOD. I'm now in the Druid grade, that alone kind of set me up for being able to just get myself back on a good footing emotionally, mentally, and financially. So that being said, I'm at a point now where I feel like I can begin to produce quality content again. And again, for those of you that have stuck it out and have been waiting, I greatly appreciate you. You are the soul of what keeps me going. So thank you. Just to kind of let you know where I'm going to be going with the channel from here going forward, I have some time off from work right now that I plan on utilizing to maybe pre-plan some videos. You may see me wearing the same outfit. This is my beautiful dress from Jam's World. Beautiful dress. Thank you. I love the bright multicolors. I think it's beautiful. Jam's World. If you're an 80s kid, you'll remember Jams, because Jam shorts were like the big thing back in the 80s. But they're still around, and they still produce beautiful clothing. It's very well made. It's very comfortable. The color was called Natalie, and I thought that was perfect. So that being said, you may notice that I'm wearing the same thing for several of these videos that are going to be released later on down the line. So don't think that I only have one outfit. You're going to also see that you're going to get my crazy au natural weird little kinky curly hair. So that is just how it is. That being said, I do plan to re-up my herb cabinet series where I talk about a specific herb and I give both its magical and medicinal qualities. I'll be talking about concocting natural medicines. And again, I am not a doctor, and none of what I give you is to be intended or to replace medical advice. If you need a doctor, please, for the love of all that is holy, go see a doctor. However, I do think that natural medicines play a role in overall wellness and balance and are an excellent complement to allopathic medicine. And so I do plan to continue that. I've completed the program for the Chestnut School of Herbal Medicine, and I'm still working on my registered herbalist nomenclature for the American Herbalist Guild. That is something that's very important to me and personal to me that I plan to continue. So the herb cabinet series will go forward. I also plan to continue the Witching It Up series, and I have a couple of unboxings and review videos. I do have some very wonderful guests coming up on the Purple Mystic, a podcast for the modern magical practitioner, as I am now calling it. You may have noticed that I took down the podcast and then have reposted some of the videos. That was all part of what was the hubbub going on over the last 2 years. There's a few episodes, like I did a wonderful interview with S.J. Tucker with Suge that had some beautiful humor in it that I don't think I could recreate if I tried to. So I am looking for that, but my computer at the time took a dive, and I'm trying to go through my big computer and see if I can find those podcasts and re-upload them. So that being said, things are what things are, right? So I have a book that I am looking for an illustrator. It's a children's book based on one of the songs by Dave the Bard and an old English folk song. It's the origin story of that song, and so I am really struggling to find somebody. It's crazy. I have reached out to several people, and we've been in talks, and things have just fallen through, but the publisher is very excited about the book and very much wants me to find an illustrator. It's just their children's imprint is small, so they don't have one on staff. So if you are an artist that would like to talk with me, please reach out to me, because I am really wanting to get this book back to the publisher as soon as possible. I have a very good friend who is a brilliant artist that I reached out to, and she had originally enthusiastically accepted, sent me some preliminary sketches. They were spot on, and then she decided that the project was too much for her, which I understand and respect, but I am disappointed, so I'm going to express that. She's a brilliant artist, and I know I loved what she gave me originally, so she's never seen Dave before, but he's one of the characters in the book, and she hit him spot on. So anyway, I also have another book that is kind of a combination of some of the self-healing work I've been working on over the last 2 years, shadow work I've been doing nonstop over the last 2 years, as well as it was inspired by a comment that Philip Cargon made on a recent Tea with the Druid. So I'm excited about that book, but that's going to be time consuming, and it's going to take me a while to get where I want to go with it and make sure that it's complete and in its entirety. But it is a work that I hope will be helpful to the world and to many other people. And so I want to just kind of say that, that's in the works as well. So you will see some reviews. You're going to see some new podcasts. I have some new people. Philip Cargom is going to be one of my guests this next month. I'm in talks with Deborah Blake to get her on the podcast. I have a few other people that I would like to have back on the podcast, like Laura Tempest Zakharoff. I would love to have her back on. I'm trying to get Gabriella Herstick on to talk about her book and a few things. So stay tuned, and thank you for sticking it out with me. I really do appreciate all of you. And for those of you, I will just say this. For those of you that eagerly opened to this video hoping to see some more of the stirring of the cauldron that's been going on since my last podcast, you're not going to get much of it. This is the only thing I'm going to say. Being family does not entitle you to know information about people in your family. There are certain things that are very personal that only certain people in their lives need to know, should know, or that they feel comfortable revealing. And I think recent events and responses reveal why that information was kept private and not told to the individual in question. I don't think that, I said what I say. I stand by what I say. You're ashamed of me. Go be ashamed of me. Your opinion doesn't matter to me because you've never spoken to me at all, ever. I've reached out, crickets. So screw you. I don't care. That being said, I'm going to get back to doing what I love, which is posting content related to magical practice, druidry, and nature-based faith. So there it is. I hope all of you stick with me on this journey, and I hope that we can make this a pleasant, happy, healing journey. I know that ups and downs are part of life, and so you might still get some of that, but I will tell you that I'm in a much better place with myself, so probably not quite to the degree that I was. So thank you again. I love you all, and I look forward to seeing you again. Blessed be. Today happens to be, by the way, summer solstice. So for those of you that are out celebrating the first day of summer, all that means to me is it's one step closer to autumn, which is my favorite time of year. Summer in Texas can be absolutely brutal, although it's been very mild thanks to a lot of the rain that we've gotten. Humidity, obviously a factor, as you can tell by my natural humidity detector here. But I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed Letha. And for those of my viewers in the Southern Hemisphere, I hope that you are having a wonderful spring equinox. I don't remember. I'm tired today. Coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet. Sorry. Whatever you celebrate today, whatever's on the flip side of your wheel of the year, I hope that you have a blessed, prosperous, and peaceful one. Thank you, and blessed be.